You're watching Let the Quran Speak. In the Facebook era, it's easy to have a lot of friends. But should we be more discerning about the people we call our friends? What are the characteristics of a good friend? How do we avoid being in the wrong crowd? What about circumstances in which one is forced to make hard choices in order to be in the right company? And what about at school and in the workplace, where one cannot always be selective about who to befriend? Let's answer those questions now, Brother Shabir. Obviously, we are social creatures. We need to reach out to other people, connect to other people, have friends. The question is, what kind of friends should we have?
While we're making the same, we're trying to make these decisions, obviously others are making similar kinds of choices and wondering about whether they want us to be friends with them or not. From a Muslim point of view, obviously it is important to have friends. We are not only social creatures from a biological perspective, but from an Islamic perspective, we have to be social. So many of the Islamic rituals and actions require a kind of a social atmosphere. The Hajj is the greatest manifestation of this, where 2 million people will gather at the same site for the performance of the pilgrimage. And normal gatherings on Friday will involve a large number of people rubbing shoulders together, praying together, hugging, shaking hands, exchanging greetings before and after the prayer. The Eid gatherings, regular prayer gatherings throughout the day. Other special occasions on a weekend or something like this. Family occasions will always bring people together, whether there's a birth in the family and unfortunately when there is a death in the family. All of these are occasions for which people will gather either for a celebration or for commiseration or for so many different purposes. So,
and of course we have responsibilities towards our friends, such as visiting them, keeping their secrets, those sorts of things.
Yes, and in a hadith it is mentioned that the rights of a Muslim over another Muslim are these, and several rights are mentioned. And though the hadith mentions Muslim in particular, that must be seen within the context where everybody was Muslim. But it is possible also that the person is a non-Muslim, in which case some of these rights will apply as well, such that if the person is sick, you will visit the person, and so on. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, himself has been known to visit a person of the other faith when that person was sick. And Muslims obviously will follow his example in doing similar acts of kindness to other people.
So how would you define a good friend then?
It's not easy to define. One definition is that the friend is the one who is sincere towards you, not the one who always believes in you, or not the one who just simply agrees with what you say.
So a friend would give you advice, would criticize you, that sort of thing?
Exactly. So it sounds good in Arabic because the same verb is used for the two actions. The friend is one who is sadiq to you, not the one who yusaddiquk. He is always agreeing to what you say. So it is important that we have friends who are able to help us and who are willing to help us to see our own faults, but of course in a gentle way, because we're all human beings. We don't like harsh criticism. We don't like any criticism, to put it this way. But at least if we have a friend who dares to criticize us, at least in a gentle way, to show us where we're wrong and help us to see where we're wrong, that to us should be considered to be a very good friend, because he helps us to get better. We might compare this to the use of a mirror. What do we use a mirror for? To see maybe somebody looks at the mirror to say, mirror, mirror, who's the great most beautiful of them all, fairest of them all. But most of us are using the mirror to make sure that there are no defects, there's no spot, there's nothing like this that we need to get rid of before we leave the house. So the mirror we appreciate because it shows us that spot that is there that needs to be removed. Well, in a similar way, we should appreciate the friend who helps us to see the spots that need to be removed.
So there are many Muslim scholars who have said, don't be friends with people who don't elevate you, who don't bring you closer to God. What are your thoughts on that?
Obviously, I mean, if everyone does this, then it may be such that there are people who are left without any friends of a noble character or religious inclination. And so we have to watch for that too. Sometimes we may befriend a person because there is a potential to help that person to be better. As much as we want others to help us, maybe we can actually help somebody by befriending that somebody. Sometimes Muslims speak of giving da'wah. You might have a friend, and through your friendship, you may convey a word from God about to that person. So that too is a good friendship.
So you can be a good friend with a non-Muslim then?
Exactly, and not necessarily for the purpose of sharing a message with him, just
or converting him.
Yes, just because this is a fellow human being, and they need friends, we need friends, and if our chemistry works together, we can be friends with each other. Then why not?
How does one resist peer pressure and retain one's values despite coming into contact with many people of different values?
Yes, well, now you're touching upon one of the negative aspects of friendships, and this is something that we always have to be aware of, because as much as we choose the friends who will help us to see that spot and to remove it, there may be friends who might actually invite us to do evil things, and
especially in contexts where you can't really choose your friends, right? Like you're stuck in a workplace and there are people around you, or you're stuck at school and all your classmates around you have certain values that may be different from your own.
Yeah, so Muslim has to be particularly aware of this. There is a verse in the Quran, in the 25th chapter, the 28th verse, where it says that on the Day of Judgment, there will be some people who will regret the friends that they have chosen. And they will say, Ya waylata laytani lam attakhidh fulanan khalila. Woe is me this day. I wish I had not taken such a one for a friend. Because such a one has misguided me, has caused me to lose my way. It is important, therefore, that we do choose our friends, even within the circles that we are constrained to. There will be choices. Some persons who we can befriend in a closer way, and some others who we are friends with by virtue of the situation. And this happens with everyone. You're at work and you have work acquaintances, but among your work acquaintances there will be some who are special friends. Maybe you'll invite them to your home on a weekend, you'll have a barbecue dinner in the summer, or you might go, snowshoeing in the winter together or something like this. And at school as well, one has to be especially aware of peer pressure, because in the school environment, some friends can group together and make some others feel isolated. And in that situation, one may feel that it is necessary to be part of the in-group. And so we find sometimes Muslim youth get caught up with this. If we find that some of the young men, for example, are wearing their pants hanging below their buttocks, then sometimes some of the Muslim youth want to do the same thing, even though this makes absolutely no sense. It doesn't make any sense to me that pants are worn in this way.
And it gets even worse. For example, if some people are using drugs, then others might want to use drugs as well. Different things like that. Yeah,
so people do things because they want to appear cool to the other guys. And for a Muslim, we want to appear cool to God. We want to appear cool to the angels. We want to be in God's good books, first and foremost. And if it so happens that other people are happy with us too, then all well and good.
But of course, we do have this strong desire to fit in as well.
Exactly. Like all human beings, we are Muslims too, would want to fit in with their groups wherever they are. They want to be socially appropriate. They want to dress in a way that people would appreciate, act and talk in a way that other people will appreciate, and so on. But we just have to keep in the back of our minds that we are responsible first and foremost before God, and we are accountable for our deeds.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
We'll take a break. When we return, we answer questions we receive from you, our viewers.